Ladies and gentlemen, look at this. It's a lovely two-hander Omega. As we all know, the second hand is for professionals and horny-handed tradesmen, while a real gentleman wears a watch with two hands only. The watch was a gift from the owner's father on the occasion of his 21st birthday, making this an irreplaceable item whose value is beyond mere monetary estimation. Let's remove the strap so we can get a clear run-up when removing the back. The key to removing the back without damaging the case is to avoid any twisting and levering. We just allow the wedging action of the tool to pop the back off. Good Lord, someone passed the smelling salts. It's a quartz watch. What are we to do? Don't worry, we are, to use the vernacular, having a laugh. Good quartz watches such as this have earned their place in the pantheon of horology and absolutely deserve all the care and attention we can muster. And both care and attention are very much needed. This watch has suffered the dreaded battery leak. Leaking batteries are the heel of Achilles waiting for an arrow in otherwise robust watches. That is enough lollygagging. Let's get the watch out of the case so it may be rescued from this chemical attack. Although the technology found in this watch was modern for its day, the design ethos was still one of old-school watchmaking, most importantly made to be serviced and repaired. The movement ring leaves the area now. And the stem and crown will vacate the watch so we can free the movement. The case will spend some time in the ultrasonic cleaner while we get on with the rest of the service. With a dial of such simple elegance and clarity, the slightest mark would stand out like a scandal in the Time Society pages. We shall take great care. We simply unhook the dial feet, and then at last we can put the dial safely in a case and relax into the rest of the work. This metal disc is in place of the date wheel found in other versions of this movement. The only other screw on this side is for this cover plate. With that eventually picked up and removed, we can take a look at the wheels. The hour wheel is stuck to the center wheel. Let's give it a poke. Minute wheel away, center wheel away, and now the tiny intermediate wheel. And with a quick appearance by the watchmaker's special stick, that's the motion works done. On this side, the first part off is the magnetic screen. The wires in the coil are more delicate than a watchmaker's temper after a long lunch. Take great care here. The center screw is shorter. We'll endeavor to remember that during reassembly. we shall use the watchmaker's special stick to ensure the screen is lifted away cleanly. 2 more screws to free the circuit board and electronic components. The wide contamination is due to the potassium hydroxide electrolyte that leaked from the battery reacting with carbon dioxide in the air to form crystals of potassium carbonate and potassium bicarbonate. One does not need to be a watchmaker to know that none of those things belong in here. Freeze the frame. While we're here, let's take a moment to look at how the hell do these actually work. The sliver of quartz crystal inside of this part vibrates when a current is applied due to the reverse electropiezo effect. These oscillations cause fluctuations in the current that are counted by special switches in here. When the total reaches a set number of fluctuations, the final switch causes a current to be sent to the coil. In this case, the current is sent to the coil once every 5 seconds. That equals 163,840 vibrations of the crystal. The current causes the coil to temporarily become a magnet. The temporary magnetic field interacts with a permanent magnet in a simple motor armature, causing it to rotate a fixed amount, incrementing the wheels within the watch's movement. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how a quartz watch works. Next, we shall attack the keyless works. Unlike most of its mechanical siblings, the keyless works are found on this side of the movement. It is a little known fact that if you are in a quiet room and hold a quartz watch to your ear, you may well be able to hear the electronics in operation. Please do let us know in the comments if you did. That's one way to free up the parts, but not really the effortless brilliance we aim for in these videos. Don't worry, we shall clean it up in the edit. Let's redeem ourselves with gentle handling of the stem. And now, at last, we reach the train of wheels and the magnetic armature we mentioned in the How It Works section. Just 1 screw and we shall employ the watchmaker's special stick with Rodico on the end. Good to see the pivots looking exactly as they should. Mechanically, there doesn't seem to be any issues beyond the contamination caused by the battery leak. We should be okay. Well, that answers the question of how magnetic the magnetic armature is. Very, very magnetic. We'll look at how the armature works during the assembly. Another drop part, more stuff to be cleaned up in the edit. We'll manually clean the armature first and then leave it out of the cleaning machine. It attracts metal fragments and is therefore best kept isolated. All the parts are given a manual clean before being whizzed and swooshed around in the cleaning machine. We'll start with the soft iron stator that makes up part of the motor. And now the magnetic armature. I really should have seen that coming. So much to clean up in the edit. Anyway, we need to find its point of equilibrium. Freeze the frame. Let's take a look at how this actually operates. This gap isn't round, and the armature likes to be in a position where its poles are as close to the stator as they can be. But then the watch's electronics start running, and the magnetic pulse produced by the coil makes the stator a magnet with poles in opposition to the armature. The armature is literally repulsed by these events, and those poles that once wanted to be close to the stator want to be as far away as possible. This kicks the armature into motion that continues until it finds its new point of equilibrium with the poles, once again close to the soft iron stator. The next magnetic impulse has its poles reversed from the previous one, again forcing the armature to make half a turn. We found that absolutely fascinating. Who knew? That's how they actually work. Anyway, we're back to something much more in our wheelhouse, cogwheels and whatnot. We're lubricating the wheel pivots with Mobius 9000, an oil so thin it almost doesn't exist, specifically designed for extremely low torque mechanisms. Let's see if we can position this wheel without knocking the armature from its equilibrium point. Look at that, we can. We didn't think so either. The stop lever is next. This is what stops the movement when the crown is pulled out. It's a mechanical stop. The watch still consumes power, even though the hands are stationary. Nothing to be gained by trying to force the situation here. The pivots will line up when they are ready. Getting close, just one more. And that looks like it. When we turn this wheel, it should jump as the armature kicks to its next equilibrium point. There we go, exactly like that. And again, excellent. The watchmaker's special stick will stand guard, making sure nothing moves out of position while we install the screw. And some more unbelievably small dollops of the extremely thin oil. That one drop is enough oil for hundreds of watches. And over we go to lubricate the bottom pivots. Let's get on with the keyless work, starting with the stem and some HP 1300. And some blue grease, the friend of keyless, works in all watches. Not sure if fitting this as one piece is going to work. Let's see what happens. Some blue grease on the setting lever, and then we shall bring the yoke back to where it belongs. Go on, go away, we'll bring you back in a minute. Setting lever spring is next. Setting lever cover plate and its single screw. We shall partially install the screw, then apply a little blue grease to the work surfaces before finishing the installation. No idea what this part is called, but whatever it is, it's back in now. Quick check of operation, then we'll fit one of the new replacement insulators. And now the electronic components. With the battery, these do the job of the mainspring, balance wheel, and pallet fork in a mechanical watch. To give you an idea of the scale, the screwdriver blade is 1 millimeter wide, a distance so small that in countries that use imperial measurements, it's legally considered a matter of opinion rather than measurement. It's over to the other side for the simple motion works, preparing the area with some HP 1300 oil. And a touch of blue grease for the center wheel. The minute wheel may be returned home, and after a judicious blob of oil, the hour wheel is back. And of course, the tiny but important intermediate wheel must not be forgotten. Not much left now, just the calendar wheel blank plate, the little cover plate, and that's the movement reassembled. Some people get a little sniffy about quartz watches, but we believe they should hold their metaphorical heads high. Every watch has its place, and long-lived, repairable items deserve respect. And we managed to find a new replacement for the other part of the insulator. Very happy about that. Moment of truth. Battery in, and let's see. It is alive. That is good news. One tick every 5 seconds is all that's needed for a gentleman's two-handed watch. Dial on next. Can't be too careful here. Leaving any sort of mark would be an absolute catastrophe. Worse than the time my uncle declared punctuality overrated and was never seen again. The potential for complete disaster holds true for the hands. Let us not snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Looking good. We shall apply a poof, 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 poof. Then it's into the case. Stem first, then we'll plonk the movement ring into position. And of course, the case clamps. Then it's time to take some measurements to confirm the overall health of the movement. First, we shall remove the battery and use a power source to run the watch and measure how much power is being used. The lower the figure, the better. The upper limit for this movement is 1.2 microamps. This one is consuming around 0.4 microamps. Excellent. The other key measurement is at what voltage the watch stops running. At full power, the battery delivers 1.5 volts. This movement needs to still run at 1.3 volts or less to pass the test. Let's jump straight to 1.2. And let's check the rate. 0.3 seconds a day, 9 seconds a month. That's less than 1 minute every 6 months. 6 months is a key time to think about because daylight saving time means the watch is reset every 6 months. There is a trimmer on this watch that could be used to adjust this rate, but monkeying around with 40-year-old electrical components for marginal gain does not pass our risk-benefit spider sense. So that is it. We are done. I do trust that everybody is having an absolutely marvelous day in all departments and continues to do so.